Hello, Zurich. It's always a big pleasure to be in this city. I actually did my master's degree in quant finance at ETH, so there's this special connection to this place. It's really lovely. And today, for the presentation, I want to present you about GoStudent. I will actually not talk about GoStudent now for the next 10 minutes and tell you what a great company we are. I will actually tell you how the Corona pandemic and how homeschooling affected our business. Because especially in the last 1.5 years, I was confronted by a lot of people asking me, well, because the schools were closing down, your online tutoring business must grow like crazy. That's what a lot of people believed. And today I want to share with you a couple of insights how our business, our education business, was really affected. What do we do at GoStudent? What is our core business? So we are building the #1 global school, connecting children in the age of 6 to 19 to world-class teachers in a one-on-one online learning environment. What does that mean? The core business we have today, with which we make money, connecting children and a teacher in basically a video call setting, and then our platform helps the families, the kids, the teachers, long-term build up lifetime value, build up loyalty. And the parents pay us a monthly fee, and for this monthly fee they receive an amount of sessions they can then use with the teachers that we connected them with. How big is the market for that? Just last week we published one of the largest education surveys that was ever conducted in Europe with more than 12,000 families. You can also download that report for free. It's very comprehensive, super interesting. And in this report, what we found out is that around half of families either use a private teacher in the afternoon or they consider taking a private teacher. It's quite a lot. In Europe, you have around 70 million children in the age of 6 to 19. Half of them using private teachers, that's 35 million children using some sort of private teachers in Europe alone. And the picture in other markets globally looks very similar. How much do they spend? On average, they spend around 1,000 euro per year. So every year, there's around 35 billion euros spent on private teachers in the afternoon market all across Europe, even more on a global scale. And who is the biggest player in that space? It's actually already us in terms of revenue. So before the pandemic, there was a French company called Academia. They provide offline tutoring in learning centers. They are doing around 100 to 150 million euros in revenues. We are already like around triple of that size, just for tutoring. And still, although our revenues grew quite significantly over the last 2.5 years, we only cover 0.3% market share in Europe. Because the market is so fragmented. Private teaching is still a highly fragmented business. So this gives us another huge opportunity also for the next years. So now this interesting question, how did this school lockdowns really affected our business, and was that helpful for generating larger revenues now over the last 1 to 2 years? And actually, you can easily check that out when you go on Google Trends analysis. It's a nice tool where you can check some keywords and how trends are evolving. And when you go to Google Trends and you search for the German word tutoring, Nachhilfe, and you zoom into the year 2020, what you will see is that in the year 2020, after the schools closed down, the demand for tutoring actually decreased by 50%. So only half of the people who were looking for private teachers for Nachhilfe before the pandemic, only half of them were doing that when the schools locked down. And at the same time, the word online Nachhilfe, online tutoring, it stayed flat. So it's not like in the e-commerce space where only because the stores are closed, people still need to buy something and then they buy these things in online stores. This is not comparable. Because of the school lockdowns, families were overwhelmed with the situation. There was less exams happening in schools. And because there's less pressure in school, that's one of the main reasons why families in the first place search for private teachers. The natural demand actually plummeted by 50%. So what does that mean then for our core business? How did we manage to grow? We had to spend way more money to acquire customers. So actually in the time period when the schools were closing down, our user acquisition costs on the marketing side, they more than doubled. So we suddenly had to pay much more marketing spendings to still acquire customers than before the pandemic. At the same time, because we were heavily investing in new market expansion and our home markets, we were able to grow the revenues overall in the company by 9x over the last 12 months. But it came at a higher cost. So school lockdowns per se have a negative impact on the natural demand side of our business. What was a positive impact? Actually, the conversion rates. Before the pandemic, when families were actually refusing our service, so people who signed up but eventually didn't become customers, we asked them, why are you not becoming a GoStudent customer? 20% of these people said, I want explicitly an offline teacher in my place that teaches my kid. 20% said that. After the school lockdowns, these 20% dropped to 2%. So nowadays, every family understands online teaching and is accepting that. On the other hand, on the teacher side, we had in the first half of 2020 4 to 5 times more teacher applications for the same marketing spend than in any previous given period. Why is that? Because people, for example, in hospitality, who suddenly were not able to continue with their job, they were all looking for online jobs. Which why we increased our amount of teacher applications quite significantly. And what is the impact on our business on that? When we get more teacher applications, we can actually increase quality quite a lot because we were still very selective on the teacher application side. So we were able to get much higher quality teachers for the same amount of money. So overall, for the education industry as a whole, the attention that was given to online education was tremendously high. And we as GoStudent, we stay super convicted on that space. We will invest much more money into further country expansion, consolidation, acquiring other education companies. And I think this increased attention we now need to leverage to invest more money in that segment and really make use out of that. In that sense, happy to share more insights with you afterwards. And please enjoy some cheese fondue while you're here in Switzerland. All the best. Grüezi.